5 Lectures on Blindness. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Yaz Pistachio. 5 Lectures on Blindness by Kate M. Foley. Forward. The following lectures were written primarily to be delivered at the summer sessions of the University of California at Berkeley and at Los Angeles in the summer of 1918. We are printing them, however, so that the information in them can be more widely distributed, since they are the outgrowth of almost a quarter of a century spent in work for the blind, and were written from the standpoint of a blind person seeking to better the condition of the blind. They were addressed not to the blind, but to the seeing public, for the benefit that will accrue to the blind from a better understanding of their problems. The successful work of Miss Foley as a student in the California School for the Blind, as a volunteer teacher, and in recent years as a home teacher for the California State Library, makes these lectures particularly important and authoritative. Milton J. Ferguson, State Librarian. End of foreword. Lecture 1 of 5 Lectures on Blindness. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 5 Lectures on Blindness by Kate M. Foley. Lecture 1. The Psychology of Blindness. In view of the widespread interest now manifested in the blind and their problems, an interest deepened by reports from the warring countries, I feel that a knowledge of the psychology of blindness should prove of great help to those wishing to take part in the re-education of the war-blinded soldiers. As early as 1773, Diderot wrote an essay on the psychology of blindness, and, as this essay was written at the very beginning of blind education, it is interesting to note that his ideas coincide with the most advanced deductions on the subject today. However, as these deductions are not very numerous, and as the available literature is very scant, I shall be obliged to draw largely from my own experiences and that of other blind persons, in presenting the subject to you. First, let us consider the subject from the point of view of one who has been blind from early infancy, whose fingers are his eyes, and whose mental vision enables him to see many things not revealed by physical sight. A blind man once said, when asked if he would not be glad to have his eyesight, "To improve the organs I have would be as good as to give me that which is wanting in me." This sentence sums up the whole aim of blind education. Dr. Eichholz, a noted educator of the blind, says, "Education of the blind absolutely fails in its object, in so far as it fails to develop the remaining faculties to compensate for the want of sight. Touch and sight must be developed by means which practically in all respects are dissimilar. A blind man discerns the sensation from the real presence of an object at his finger's end only by the force or weakness of that very sensation. So then, let us consider that, to the blind, fingers are eyes, and remember that they have 10 instead of 2. As I have been blind since early infancy, my own case offers an illustration in point, so I hope you will not misunderstand the predominance of the personal note in these observations. Blindness does not lead to any refinement of the sense of touch, hearing, or smell, but to a greater keenness in the interpretation of the information furnished by these senses. Diderot says, "The help which our senses reciprocally afford to each other hinders their improvement." And so the person in possession of all the senses regards the blind man as a marvel of intelligence and skill, just because, on losing his eyesight, his remaining senses come to the rescue, and he continues to live and move and have his being without the most precious of all physical senses. In the world of the blind child, eyesight plays no part, and so the other senses are made to do double duty, and the extent to which these may be cultivated is limited only by the mentality of the child.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?